Hey, this is Aaron with Curbside Cycle, and today we're going to talk about the Riese Muller Multitinker. So the Multitinker is a compact cargo bike for Riese Muller, which we were really looking forward to for 2023. It's a bike that comes by Riese Muller very earnestly because they started building compact, full suspension folding bikes in the 90s, so this type of bike really comes to them honestly. The whole idea behind this bike is that you've got your cargo capacity, but you've also got a compact bike to zip through the city and not take up too much space in storage either. When Riese Muller launched this bike, it came into a market that was full of other e-bikes. Riese Muller is really innovative in their design, so they went a step further to make their bike really streamlined, with simple lines and all sorts of cargo capacity options to improve the practicality of the bike and the convenience for the rider. The Multitinker is a bike that is meant for riders from 5 feet all the way up to 6'5", with all sorts of adjustability options. So whether you're needing the handlebars to come a little bit closer if you're a shorter rider, or to extend the seat post and push the handlebars out because you're taller, the Multitinker can do it all. Riese Muller designed this bike with cargo in mind. Based off of their Tinker, which is a 20-inch wheel compact bike that can help you zip around town and not take up too much space, you just can't carry a ton on it. So the Multitinker fills that need with all sorts of cargo bag options, the passenger kit, the safety bar kit. With the cargo front carrier or the small carrier with a bag on top, you've really got a lot of options for the ultimate of cargo capacity. If you have a small apartment or not a lot of space to store the bike when you bring it home with you, the Multitinker functions much like the Tinker in that the handlebars will fold down and give you a lot more space in your hallway or wherever you're storing the bike. Riese Muller always goes the extra mile when they build their bikes, so there's a lot of practicality built into these for the best use for city riding. So that comes in the form of internal gears, and this particular model of Multitinker that I've got before me uses the Vario system, or the NVOLO continuous variable hub. It also features a 625 watt-hour Bosch battery to take you upwards of 80-90 kilometer range, and obviously that varies with the amount of weight or the terrain you're riding, but it's tons of mileage that you can get out of this bike for city use. The Bosch Performance Line CX motor is also there to give you 85 Newton meters of torque, so you can really get up that hill or do the distance you need with a real natural feeling of ease. The Bosch systems all sense your pedal force 1,000 times a second, so you're really able to get a natural and effortless feel to riding the bike. It's almost like an endless tailwind. So depending on the boost level you select, it's going to give you a percentage on top of whatever pressure you're putting on the pedals. The bike comes pretty security ready as well for any kind of city use. So both front and rear wheels are locked on, not easy to take. And the bike also features a frame lock or cafe lock mounted to the front fork. So even if you've got your big chain lock locked to a bike rack, you've also got your secondary lock in the form of a frame lock to secure it even further. On top of that, the Bosch Smart System also allows a motor lock. So if the screen is removed from the handlebars, you will have your motor locked out, so you won't have to worry about someone zipping off on the bike. The Multitinker has an extended rear rack. So like the Tinker, it's using a small 20-inch wheel, but where the Tinker and the Multitinker differ is that the Multitinker has a super long rack. So you can put a couple kids on the back, you can load it up with the cargo bags, you can put friends on the back. The world is your oyster with this. So the passenger kit is one of the options. It features a handlebar that comes off the seat post and a pad along the rear rack, so that you can have an older kid or an adult sit on the back of the bike and be comfortable. This also features foot stirrups to have a spot for the feet to go so they're not dragging on the ground or getting in the wheel, as well as wheel guards, which you can't really see on this model here just because the cargo bags are in front, but the passenger kit and the safety bar kit both feature these options. The safety bar kit adds another layer of protection of having a big bar all the way around the passengers. So if you've got 2 kids on the back, they've got something to hold on to, as well as a little extra feeling of protection. You can carry kids on the back of this bike who are a little bit older, as well as in their toddler phase in the kid seats that you would put on a standard bike as well. The Multitinker rack features ways that you can fit Yep or Bow Bike seats on the back, and they slot in quite easily, so you've got the protection of that seat alongside any kind of added safety bar protection as well. Riese Muller also came up with some creative ideas to have all of the above, where you have the safety bar kit or the passenger kit along with cargo bags that we have here. The cargo bags just sit flat against the rack, so legs can kind of sit over top. And then when you don't have the kids, you can really load up these bags and carry a ton. So if you've got your rear rack all loaded up with kids or cargo, you've also got the option of a cargo front rack or the small rack with bag. These options will just give you a little extra room for an extra backpack or bag of groceries, whatever you got. The racks are also cleverly mounted to the frame, so they do not actually affect your steering whatsoever, which is nice because you can really load them up and it's not going to be a hindrance. There's another very convenient storage pocket built into the bike that's actually just here, zips in from the other side, and you're able to just store, extra locks or a jacket or, just some sundry items that you might need to bring along and don't have room up top for. So let's get into a little bit more of the technical aspects of the bike, starting with the rear hub on the bike. So you've got a couple drive options with the Multitinker. One of them is the Vario system, which is what we talked about a little bit earlier in the video, and this uses the NVOLO continuous variable hub. It gives you an endless amount of range as well as a stepless shifting system. So this means that whether you've got hills en route or distance to travel, you will not have clicks between each gear, you will just simply be changing the resistance on the hub. This means that whatever torque you're putting down will feel natural, as well as the level of resistance from the hub will also follow suit. The NVOLO hub also features the Gates carbon drive, so you have, rather than a chain on the bike, a carbon belt drive. That means no oil, no fuss, you've got something that's going to last you tens and tens of thousands of kilometers before requiring replacing. The other drive option that you can get is the Touring model, which features an external drivetrain with a Shimano derailleur system and shifter. And this gives you an enormous amount of range, but it does require a little bit more maintenance as the chain does move up and down the cogs. And with an e-bike, that means you're going to be putting a little extra torque on that system. Now, the Touring model was designed specifically with e-bikes in mind, so it's got a little bit more hardiness built into the derailleur and into the chain and cogs, but that being said, the NVOLO and belt drive really is the name of the game for city riding. Let's move to the front of the bike. So the front of the bike, you'll see front suspension forks. These forks are there to stabilize the bike, so if you've got a ton of weight on it and you've got roads that are multi-terrain or potholes or curbs, you can clear those with ease without kind of losing the stability of the bike. The bike is also set up with Magura hydraulic disc brakes. These disc brakes are incredibly powerful, so they will help stop you with the forces that you're putting on with an e-assist motor. You want something that's going to actually be reliable, so you've got a 2-piston system, and that means that you've got power in all weather, in all conditions, and you'll be able to stop the bike with cargo on board. Of course, like every Riese Muller bike, you have front and rear lights that are wired right into the motor, so there's no issue with having to remember to bring your lights with you. They're built right into the bike. The Bosch motor that the Multitinker uses is the CX motor. This offers 85 Newton meters of torque, as mentioned before, but is going to give you an incredibly natural feel to every pedal stroke you put in. The Multitinker for 2023 also features the new smart system from Bosch. So this is going to allow much more integration with your phone apps, for Bosch, as well as let you customize your screen settings, as well as the kind of output you want to see from your bike, as well as perform your own self-diagnostics on things going wrong with the bike. The Bosch system is available here. On this bike is the Kiox 300, and the other screen option is the Intuvia. They're both functional without any screens on the bike. You would just simply be rewiring one of the computer wires into the controller. But it means that if you don't want to have a screen on your bike, you want to keep things feeling very natural, you can just simply have the controller on the bike and function everything from the app, as well as this controller on the left hand. The battery is a in-tube battery that sits right into the main frame of the bike. It's a 625 watt-hour battery, so it gives you a ton of range. It's easy to remove simply by throwing the key into the side of the bike, and you can just pop that battery right up and out. You could charge the battery with the bike intact, as you see, where there's a port on the side of the bike, or you can remove the battery and bring it in with you to charge. One thing that comes up a lot for cargo bikes is, especially for midtail or longtail bikes, is how functional the kickstand is. A lot of the time you get a really cruddy kickstand on these bikes and they don't work that well. Riese Muller develops their own, so they're incredibly stable when you've got kids clambering on the bike, and they're easy to roll the bike right off, and you've got a really stable but practical stand. The bike also comes in several colors. We have the petrol blue option in front of us today, but it also comes in gloss white or a matte gray, which almost shows as black. As mentioned in the video before, we've got a bike that can really span the height ranges from 5 feet to 6'5", so it's a one size fits most bike. With all of the adjustable options as described, you can make this really work for you. One thing that really makes a difference for city riding is the tire choice. The Multitinker comes with the Supermoto X tires from Schwalbe, which are phenomenal with puncture resistance. They offer a little reflective strip around the side, and they're a high volume tire, which means it adds a little extra cushion if you're hitting bumps in the road. The other option, if you're doing a little bit more off-road or a little more adventure riding, is the GX package, which comes with a knobbly tire. You'll see this on some of the other Riese Muller bikes as well, but it really just gives some options for dirt road rides and fire roads and that kind of thing if you want a little bit more grip. For some additional comfort as well, the bike doesn't come with this, but a suspension seat post or Thudbuster seat post from Cane Creek really does a good job in adding a little bit more comfort to the seating position. However, if you are a shorter rider, sometimes you can't do that just because it'll hold the seat post out of the frame a little bit more. But really nice options to kind of span the height range and rider style. In the world of compact cargo bikes, the Multitinker stands above the rest really in its design, in its functionality, and its convenience for the rider. It's easy to store, it's easy to charge, it lets you go the distance, it lets you pack everything you need and more, and it's one of our favorite bikes of the year, hands down. For commuting through the city, dropping the kids at school, doing your picnic on the weekend, going to the park, this bike really can do it all, and with a very small footprint, which, let's be honest, there's enough SUVs on the road, so let's just have some fun with a compact Multitinker. Thanks so much for watching the video. We hope you found it helpful in choosing your next cargo bike. And if you liked this video, please remember to like, subscribe for more on city bikes, e-bikes, folding bikes, and cargo. And visit us at 412 Bloor Street West in Toronto to see the bikes live and come test ride.